wake up in the morning and the First Lady puts out a statement demanding you be fired from your job? We've all been there, right?
That was Jimmy Kimmel after President Trump called for ABC to fire him again.
Right now, the First Lady, Melania Trump, apparently calling on ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel. This appears to be in response to a segment that Kimmel aired days before the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Y'all, Karoline Leavitt just stepped to that podium and basically tried to end Jimmy Kimmel's entire career in under a minute after he got suspended from ABC. And now, people are saying that moment might be the reason Kimmel is facing suspension pressure, FCC heat, and even wild talk about terrorism-linked consequences. And it all came down to one line, a joke. A single joke about Melania Trump that didn't even last 5 seconds, but somehow turned into a full-blown national argument about violence, media power, and who actually controls the narrative in America. Because the second Karoline said, who in their right mind says a wife would be glowing over the potential of her husband?
Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential of her beloved husband?
That's when everything turned. Not just for Kimmel, but for her too. And once the internet started pulling receipts, playing clips back, and lining up timelines, the story stopped being about a late-night joke and started turning into something way bigger. So now the real question is, did Jimmy Kimmel actually cross a dangerous line? Or did Karoline Leavitt just open a door she can't close? Now, before we get into why Karoline went that hard, we gotta go back to the exact moment this all started. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't even going off. He wasn't loud, wasn't heated, and wasn't pushing anything extreme. He was just doing what he always does, delivering a roast-style monologue. And during that bit, he looked at Melania and said, "Our First Lady, you have a glow like an expectant widow."
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
That's it, just that one line. At first, it just felt like another late-night joke. Some people laughed, others winced, and a few didn't even pay it any attention. But then something happened that changed how that joke was viewed. 2 days later, there was a shooting scare at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And just like that, what sounded like a joke didn't feel like one anymore. It started looking like evidence. So now, fast forward to Karoline Leavitt stepping up and addressing the situation. And she didn't hold back at all. She didn't brush it off as a joke. She didn't call it just bad taste. She took it somewhere much heavier. She called Kimmel's rhetoric deranged and said language like that can push people toward violence.
When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many.
Then she took it even further. She started comparing the language used by the shooter to things said in media and online spaces.
And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night.
And in that moment, she drew a straight line. No hints, no softness, just clear and direct. Comedy leading to influence, and influence spilling into violence. And once she put it that way, everything changed. What felt like humor at first now carried weight. It stopped being a joke and turned into a question of responsibility. Now, this is where everything really blew up. That clip of Karoline calling Kimmel out, the moment she questioned how anyone could even say that about someone's wife, didn't just make rounds online. It went crazy viral. And people started saying she ended him in under a minute. But just as that clip was blowing up everywhere, another one quietly started spreading too. And this one changed the whole story on its head. While Karoline was warning about dangerous rhetoric, people quickly dug up something she said before that same event, and now it lands completely different in this moment. There will be some shots fired tonight. Everyone should tune in.
There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
So everyone should tune in.
Now on its own, that just feels like hype, pure promo energy. But right in the middle of a normal conversation, once violent language came up, it didn't feel harmless anymore. And the internet clocked it immediately. One user even said, if you want to fire Jimmy Kimmel for making off-color comments well before the WWHCD event began, you have to fire Karoline Leavitt for saying there will be some shots fired tonight before the event as well. And just like that, everything changed. The whole narrative flipped. The double standard debate. Now, the story wasn't, did Kimmel go too far? It became, why is one person's joke treated like a threat, but another person's words get ignored? And critics didn't stop there. They started pointing out something even bigger. Karoline was calling out rhetoric, but staying silent on similar language coming from other political figures. One fan wrote, this kind of rhetoric, completely deranged, she says. Funny, she's silent when Trump spews it daily. Spare us. Now, it wasn't just Jimmy Kimmel versus Karoline Leavitt anymore. It turned into a full-on media versus politics clash. And the moment that line got crossed, everything escalated fast. Trump steps in and raises the stakes. Now, this is the moment things stop looking messy and start feeling serious. That's when Donald Trump stepped in. And he didn't just take shots at Kimmel, he pushed for action. He took to Truth Social, demanding ABC fire him right away. He slammed the show as struggling in the ratings and said the joke crossed the line. Then the pressure started to build, not just online, but inside the network too. There were even reports that the FCC was preparing to review ABC affiliate licenses after the controversy.
We've got some breaking news on the fight between the Trump administration and Jimmy Kimmel. The FCC is preparing to challenge the licenses of ABC affiliate stations. And a source tells CNN the process will begin as early as this afternoon.
Now we're not talking about a joke anymore. We're talking about consequences that could affect an entire network. Jimmy Kimmel didn't stay silent. He didn't say sorry. He leaned right into it and fired back saying, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband.
So I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it.
And then he did something even more strategic. He played a clip of Trump making his own joke about dying before reaching 63 years of marriage.
They were married for 63 years. And excuse me if you don't mind. That's a record we won't be able to match, darling. I'm sorry. Just not going to work out that way.
Wait a minute. Did he just make a joke about his death?
And then, out of nowhere, the exact kind of humor that got Kimmel in trouble was coming from the same person demanding he be fired. That's when everything started circling back on itself, turning into one big contradiction loop. Now everyone starts choosing sides, and Melania Trump steps in, calling Jimmy Kimmel a coward. She says his words are corrosive and dangerous. At the same time, Sage Steele is calling out Disney for what she sees as clear double standards, saying she faced consequences just for speaking up, while Kimmel continues to push controversial content without the same backlash. And then, older controversies start resurfacing. People bring up Kimmel's past suspension tied to comments about Charlie Kirk.
I think Aaron Rodgers has the right to express any opinion he wants to, but saying someone is a pedophile is not an opinion, nor is it trash talk. Sorry, Pat McAfee. And as far as the, well, you say things about people all the time argument goes, yes, I do. It's not the same. It's not even close to the same. We say a lot of things on this show.
Now it's not just about one joke anymore. It turns into something deeper, patterns, past behavior, and who people choose to call out. That shooting scare at the Correspondents' Dinner didn't just happen. It flipped the whole mood instantly. Melania was there. Karoline was there. Then shots rang out, and within seconds, security rushed in and locked everything down. And just like that, this wasn't just talk anymore. It felt real. And that's why the rhetoric debate landed harder than usual. So now, when you look back at Karoline's 47-second takedown, it hits different. At first, it looked like she shut Kimmel down, but once the receipts came out, once her own words got pulled into the conversation, once Trump's jokes started making the rounds again, that moment doesn't hit the same. It lands a little off now, more complicated, more messy, and honestly, a bit risky. So now everything comes down to this. Did Jimmy Kimmel actually cross a line that deserves punishment? Or is this whole situation being pushed into something bigger than it really is? And if words really do inspire action, then why does that rule only apply to some people and not everyone? Because right now, this doesn't look like one man's mistake. It looks like a system trying to decide who gets to joke and who pays for it.